Hello, I'm Sebastian. Welcome to Nine Nar Trees podcast. Today, I will summarize and review the book. Waste Wars: The Wild Afterlife of Your Trash by Alexander Clapp is an investigation into what happens after you toss something away and the bin disappears from view. Rather than treating waste as a local nuisance, the book follows trash as a global commodity shaped by shipping routes, private brokers, weak enforcement, and shifting international rules. It explores how recycling can function both as an environmental promise and as a convenient story that masks the harder realities of overproduction and disposal. Clapp brings attention to the gap between household intentions and industrial outcomes, showing how a plastic bottle, an old phone, or mixed packaging can end up traveling across borders, changing hands repeatedly, and creating hazards far from the consumers who generated it. The narrative frames waste as a geopolitical and economic issue where policies, profits, and power determine whose communities bear the costs. The result is a clear-eyed look at the modern waste system and why it so often fails to match public expectations. I will give you key takeaways from this book. Firstly, trash as a global supply chain. A central theme is that waste moves through an international supply chain that resembles any other trade network, complete with contracts, middlemen, ports, and price swings. The book emphasizes that the afterlife of trash is rarely confined to a single city or even a single country. Materials marketed as recyclable may be baled, sold, exported, resorted, and resold, sometimes passing through several jurisdictions before reaching a final destination. This global circulation is driven by basic incentives. Wealthy regions want low-cost disposal, while intermediaries and receiving markets may profit by extracting valuable fractions such as certain plastics, metals, or paper. But the system also depends on information asymmetries. Consumers are told that sorting correctly solves the problem, while the downstream reality may involve contamination, mislabeling, and weak oversight. By treating waste as tradable goods, the system can shift environmental burdens to places with fewer resources to resist or regulate. The topic reframes disposal as logistics. What matters is not only what you throw away, but how rules, freight economics, and market demand determine where it ends up and what harms or benefits follow. Secondly, the recycling myth and the reality of mixed materials. The book scrutinizes the comforting idea that most everyday packaging is effectively recycled. It highlights how modern products are designed for convenience and branding rather than recovery, with multi-layer materials, mixed polymers, adhesives, dyes, and food residues that make clean separation difficult. Even when consumers follow guidelines, real-world collection streams often contain contamination that lowers value and raises processing costs. As a result, recycling can become a sorting and triage operation where only a small portion is truly remade into new products, while the remainder is downcycled, burned, landfilled, or exported. This topic also looks at how the language of recyclability can function as a marketing shield, encouraging consumption by implying an easy solution. The book draws attention to the structural mismatch between the pace of packaging innovation and the slower, capital-intensive build-out of recycling infrastructure. When commodity prices drop, the economics can collapse quickly, leaving municipalities and workers to deal with the consequences. The takeaway is not that recycling is pointless, but that it is often oversold as a universal remedy in a system that prioritizes production volume over material recoverability. Thirdly, waste, policy, and the loopholes of regulation. Another key topic is the role of policy in shaping where waste goes and how it is handled, including how regulations can be undermined by loopholes, inconsistent enforcement, and ambiguous classifications. The book explores the tensions between national bans, international agreements, and local realities. When one route closes, waste traders frequently find new pathways through reclassification, transshipment, or routing to jurisdictions with less scrutiny. Materials labeled as secondhand goods, recyclable feedstock, or humanitarian shipments can blur the line between legitimate trade and dumping. This policy dimension shows that waste is not merely a technical challenge but a legal and political one. Decisions about what counts as hazardous, what requires prior consent, and who is responsible after export can determine whether communities have any protection. The book also points to the fragmented nature of responsibility. Producers, retailers, municipalities, and consumers each occupy a piece of the system, which can make accountability elusive. By mapping these governance gaps, the topic helps readers see why reforms often stall and why improvements require coordinated standards, transparent reporting, and enforcement capacity across borders. Fourthly, human and environmental costs in receiving communities. The narrative brings attention to the lived consequences of the global waste economy in places that process, dismantle, or dispose of other people's discards. This topic emphasizes that waste management is frequently labor-intensive and hazardous, especially where informal workforces handle sorting, burning, shredding, or acid processing without adequate protections. Plastics and mixed materials can release toxic pollutants when burned or when they degrade in open dumps, while electronic waste can expose workers and nearby residents to heavy metals and persistent chemicals. The impacts are not only ecological but social. Waste sites can shape local politics, property values, public health outcomes, and patterns of inequality. The book highlights the moral distance created by exports and long-haul logistics, which allow affluent consumers to remain unaware of downstream harms. It also suggests that the costs are often borne by people with the least leverage, while the profits are captured elsewhere in the chain. By focusing on these outcomes, the topic reframes waste as an environmental justice issue, pushing readers to ask who benefits from the current system and who pays for its externalities. Lastly, what real solutions look like. Beyond the blue bin, the book argues that meaningful change requires more than better household sorting, because the root drivers sit upstream in product design, business incentives, and political will. This topic explores solution directions that go beyond individual virtue, reducing material throughput, redesigning packaging for true recyclability, standardizing materials, and expanding responsibility from consumers to producers. Policies such as extended producer responsibility, deposit return systems, and fees tied to hard-to-recycle packaging can alter incentives by making disposal costs visible to the companies that create waste. Better data and transparency matter as well, since hidden exports and unclear reporting let the system claim success while shifting burdens. The topic also considers the limits of any single fix. Recycling improvements can help, but they compete with cheap virgin materials and constant growth in packaging volumes. Incineration and landfilling may solve a short-term capacity problem while creating long-term environmental liabilities. The most durable strategies tend to combine prevention, redesign, and accountability, supported by infrastructure investment and enforcement. The reader comes away with a practical lens. Evaluate solutions by whether they reduce total waste generation and prevent harm, not by whether they simply relocate the problem. In conclusion, this book is best for readers who want an evidence-driven understanding of where trash goes, including people interested in climate and environmental justice, policy students, journalists, sustainability professionals, and anyone uneasy about the promises printed on packaging. It benefits a reader's life by turning a vague feeling of guilt or confusion into a clearer map of causes and leverage points. Instead of focusing only on personal habits, it helps you interpret labels, municipal recycling claims, and corporate sustainability messaging with sharper skepticism and better questions. That clarity can guide more effective choices, supporting policies that shift costs upstream, favoring products designed for reuse, and recognizing when recycling is a partial tool rather than a moral finish line. Compared with many books that either scold consumers or offer generic green tips, Waste Wars stands out for treating waste as a global political economy with winners and losers. Its value is in connecting everyday discards to trade, regulation, and inequality, which makes the problem more concrete and the solutions more realistic. If you want a sharper understanding of the modern waste system and why it keeps failing, this book is worth buying. If you would like to support Alexander Clapp, you can buy the book through the Amazon link I've provided in the podcast description. After reading the book, please let me know what you think and share your thoughts. See you around.